The NFL season is just around the corner. It starts in less than 24 hours, and we are here to make our season predictions. We're talking records for all 32 teams. We're talking about what we like about each team, what we dislike about each team. We're going to talk all kinds of things, baseball, even maybe a little WWE tonight. We're going all over the map. It's episode 10, baby, of Wednesday Night Live with Y2K99. Well, welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Y2K99. Thank you as always. Like I say every video, thank you for taking the time to watch these videos, to give me the thumbs up. Thank you for all your subscriptions, and thank you for sharing the channel with your friends and even people you don't even like. I appreciate everybody's support. So we are now on double digits of the Wednesday Night Live show, and it is officially NFL season. Things are about to crank up, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to talk for a second about what we're going to be doing on the Wednesday night shows going forward during the NFL season. So really starting next week, because Wednesday's kind of right in the middle there where you're coming down from the week that just happened and you're starting to turn the page and you're looking forward to what you're going to be looking at for the upcoming weekend of football games. So we're kind of right in the middle. So here's what I thought we would do to make things a little bit different. Every Wednesday, we'll do our 3 and out, 3 random sports topics. I'll give you a few random notes and stats about the games, about the Jets game, but I'm going to make them a little more granular. We're going to go a little bit more deep to get some really good research for you. Then we'll talk about the state of the Jets, talk the current Jets news. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the state of the AFC East. I think for a season where the New York Jets are legitimate contenders to win the AFC East for the first time in over 20 years, I think we should be taking a pretty close look at how Buffalo, Miami, and New England are doing. So we'll spend just a couple of minutes every Wednesday doing that. Of course, I'll be responding to your questions and comments the whole time. And of course, we will be doing our trivia. But before we get into the 3 and out right now, let's take a quick look here at the comments. And let's say hello to a few friends. Jets mess. Usually the first one to arrive every single game. He's always front of the line. Man, he's just VIP. Mess. Hank G is here live. Good to see you, my friend. Harlan Abraham. Yeah, where Harlan goes, Hank goes. Where Hank goes, Harlan's going. I guess that's what we're seeing. Pure Adrenaline Sports, one of the true greats. Just wrapped up a live stream of the Mets-Nationals game, which ended with Washington taking the walk-off victory. Clearly, I went to the correct game. I went to last night's game. More on that in just a moment. But I'm really happy that he came on here. I got balls wearing this jersey in my own home. Don't worry. It will not last the whole show. We're just doing it for right now. We will be switching it over. Harlan is right. Please hit the like button, the thumbs up, the subscriptions. That's what gets the message out there. That's what gets the show out there. Because like I say, it's no fun just talking to a camera and looking at myself while I do it. I mean, my gosh. You guys are what make this a million times more fun. We got Pa2K99 as well. I know he's excited for Sunday night for the Cowboys-Giants game. I'm sure he'll be rooting for the Cowboys, even though I've never seen him wear any Cowboys gear in his entire life. David D, welcome to the chat, my friend. Welcome. Is the trivia answer Scotty McKnight? If it's not Lee Cravett, I would bet on Scotty McKnight. That's what I would lean there. Kind of a short haircut, says the one who still has a little bit of a mullet going on, who was born in the 50s. Oh boy, yep, I used the word mullet on the show. Okay. So let's get into a little bit of 3 and out. The first thing I'm actually going to talk about, and I've never done this on the live show before, but you got to indulge me, was Monday Night Raw, the Intercontinental Championship match. Yes, I'm talking wrestling for a couple of minutes. Gunther against chadgable. Gunther breaks the Honky Tonk Man's record for the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. A gritty, scrappy match. the fact that he has now been champion for 65 weeks is amazing. I could go on and on into the details, but I will say this. If you're a wrestling fan, even a lapsed wrestling fan, go back and watch this match from Monday night in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm not going to go into the details, but man, oh man, it was 15 minutes of just brilliant, brilliant, aggressive wrestling. The only thing that I wish we all could have changed, the one thing, is that they went picture in picture on USA Network. So for about half of the match, you've got these big commercials. They're advertising their Starburst and whatever other. I don't even remember what companies they promote anymore. That's how little I care about it. But that's taking up 3/4 of the screen while the actual match gets this little window. But my goodness, what a fantastic match it was. And again, congratulations to Gunther winning the IC title, or holding on to it now as the longest reigning champion of all time. Hopefully Chad Gable's time to be a champion will come. And we've got our first super chat of the night. Yes, super chats and super thanks are available. Thank you so much. DFF1234, thanks just a fly on the wall. Well, you're the kind of fly that I don't want to swat. You're the kind of fly who's welcome to hang around here as long as you want. Thank you so much for that. Yes, the honky donkey man, as Santino Morelli used to call him. Yes, I grew up hating Wayne Ferris, just dying for him to lose the championship. And when the Ultimate Warrior beat him at SummerSlam, I was so happy. Hank G, any thoughts on Wembley? I would like to go. Now, I'm not an AEW watcher. I was a huge Ring of Honor fan. I could talk old school Ring of Honor with you all night long. But I feel like AEW took advantage of what Ring of Honor had been building for 20 years, basically raided their talent, took all that stuff, and, basically used Tony Khan's money to launch the company. I know ROH is still around, but it's like what ECW was when WWE brought it back, and it was like AA baseball or AAA baseball. So, no, I didn't watch the show. I will say this. I would be surprised if CM Punk ever wrestles in a major wrestling organization ever again. And it's really unfortunate because he's a heck of a talent. He may be a jerk, but he's a heck of a talent. Jets mess coming by with the $10 second super chat of the night. Thank you so much for doing that, Mess. I appreciate your support. And hey, yeah, with your money, I can do what I can do. I can get some music, get some sound effects, little things like that to keep the show exciting and keep it fun. Because those things, they do cost a little bit of cash. So Mess, thank you so much for doing that. Okay, I'm going to go on to hockey for a little bit. I want to take a minute and talk about Carl Hagelin, who just retired from the NHL at 35 years old from a left eye injury he suffered back in March of 2022, suffered in practice. He had 2 surgeries recently to avoid losing vision in his left eye. He actually does have partial vision loss right now. Missed the last year, had 2 hip surgeries as well. And this past week on Instagram, he made the announcement on Instagram to call it quits. So a quick retrospective on Hagelin. He was a 6th-round pick of the New York Rangers in 2007, 168th overall. And interesting, 5 picks later, the Rangers drafted Nick Bonino, who is actually now their new 4th-line center. Bonino was drafted by San Jose at the time. But in 4 short years with the Rangers, Hagelin appeared in 266 games, 58 goals, 72 assists, plus 57. Really, really good. 1 hat trick in his career. That was a 3-goal effort when the Rangers beat the Jets, the Winnipeg Jets, on March 14th, 2014. Hey, G, I'm hearing CM Punk might end up in WWE. No, there's too many bridges burned. I just don't see it happening. Probably the highlight of Hagelin's Rangers career was his overtime goal against Pittsburgh that allowed the Rangers to advance to the 2nd round of the playoffs, Game 5 of the 2015 first round. Rangers, here's what happened. Rangers are up 3-1 in the playoffs. Dominic Moore, very underrated 2-way player, now an analyst on TV. He digs the puck out from behind the boards, right behind goaltender Marc-Andre Fleury, slides it on the backhand to Hagelin, who's behind the net all alone. Hagelin skates to the front of the net to Fleury's left, fires the shot into the net for the series winner. And another goal that he has a very major role in, Marty St. Louis' overtime goal in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2014 when the Rangers defeated the Canadiens. So the line at the time was that it was Hagelin, Marty St. Louis, and Brad Richards. The Canadiens had 3 chances to clear the puck. They could not do it. Hagelin winds up getting the puck on his stick, slides a diagonal pass all the way across ice to St. Louis, who's all alone in the left face-off circle as I kill a spider. And he has it all alone, fires the puck past Dustin Tokarski. Rangers take a 3-1 series lead, go on to win it in 6 games. Hagelin also won the NHL's fastest skater competition in 13.218 seconds, then a record. It's been beaten since, but at one time he was really the fastest skater in the NHL. The Rangers made a hideous trade, trading him to the Anaheim Ducks in June 2015 for the immortal Emerson Edom and 2 draft picks. Edom played 19 games as a Ranger. It was a disastrous trade. Neither of the Rangers picks ever even made the big team. And half a season later, Hagelin was gone to Pittsburgh and he won 2 Stanley Cups. It's just the way it works out. He was part of the infamous HBK line with Nick Bonino and Phil Kessel. So it's 11 seasons, and Hagelin finishes his playoff career 50 points in 141 postseason games. So to Hags, much respect. All the best with your retirement. Pa2K99. I will sing for free. Yep, just as long as nobody else hears you. I don't think anybody will mind. Grandizer 12. Keep your stick on the ice, stay out of the penalty box, and light the lamp. I've been known to take a few minor penalties over the years, I guess, but thankfully no game misconducts as of yet. But any day now, right? Okay, and let's get to topic number 3. Gonna do this one quickly. I was at the Mets Nationals game last night in Washington, D.C. Fantastic game as the Mets dominated. Josequintana, super reliable, 7 innings, 1 run, 4 strikeouts, had a great game. Francisco Alvarez breaks a month-long home run slump, goes 2 for 3, 3 RBIs. He is now the second catcher in MLB history to hit over 20 home runs with 50 RBIs in an age 21 or younger season. The only other one to do it, some guy named Johnny Bench. You might have heard of him back in 1969. Brandonnimmo, whose jersey I am wearing right now, got a Nimmo on the back here. 2 home runs, 3 runs scored. And but what I really liked is that you got to see the 4 rookies play together in a row. Vientos, Alvarez, Beatty, and Mauricio. So I know these games don't mean anything in the standings. Let's be honest. But I'd say maybe 8,000 people in the stands, maybe at the absolute best. But I somehow wound up in the center field seats. If you know the red seats in left center field, I was in the second row. So I had a pretty good spot, a really good view. But somehow I wind up in the only section of the ballpark that has any obnoxious Washington fans. I don't know if you guys know this. Now, if you're a Jets fan, maybe, some of you all might know this, some of you may not. Every time Washington scores a run, they do the same chant. And tell me if you've heard anything like this before. N-A-T-S, Nats, Nats, Nats. Woo! It is the lamest, most ridiculous chant I've ever heard. The Washington Nationals are so lame, they got to rip off the Jets. That's right. They had to rip off the Jets. And I just couldn't be quiet. That chant is so freaking lame. And this one 300-pound woman who I don't think has eaten a salad that didn't have a ton of bacon bits and croutons on it just says, "Hey, when was the last time the Jets won a Super Bowl?" And I said, nobody outside of this area even remembers that you all won a championship in 2019 anyway. Thankfully, about an inning later, she was gone. I don't think she wanted to deal with me anymore. But it just reminded me, and here is where we're going to transition right back to the Jets. See how smooth that was? And it just got me thinking that as a New York Jets fan, we are still getting picked on. We are still getting bullied. And don't let any of these people fool you. Don't let your colleagues at work, at school, your family members who hate the Jets, don't let any of them fool you. They might say they're looking forward to the entertainment, to the enjoyment. It's going to be a fun season. They still want to see us fall flat on their face. And that's why at the end of every game when they win, look at them, be proud, and scream at them 4 letters. And I think you know what those letters are. It's not a show if we don't get that in. Oh, boy. Let's take another couple looks here at the chat. Nats, yeah, they won the game tonight. It's all good. Yeah. Oh my gosh. But I wanted to talk a little bit about. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about Hard Knocks a little bit about the final episode. I'm going to give you some of my thoughts. Hey, hey, the rants and the anger, they get attention. What can I say? But if you do it every video, eventually people get used to it. So I will rant when I find it suitable to rant. Just ask Max Scherzer. He knows what I do. By the way, how's he doing? Anybody check out Scherzer versus Verlander tonight? Oh my goodness. Scherzer allowed what? 3 home runs. Verlander allowed 1. Scherzer allowing a grand slam. The fact that the Mets got anything for this stiff, goodbye. Yeah. Michael Del Zotto retires. Yes, I will not be giving him any tributes. I was never a Del Taco or a Del Zester fan. Never been a fan of his at all. I felt he was an absolute underachiever during his time in the NHL. So, hey, all the best to him in his retirement. But yeah, I never had any love for Michael Del Zotto. None whatsoever. So I watched Hard Knocks. I got home about 1 a.m. From DC, fell asleep about 2 a.m., and I woke up at 7 just to watch Hard Knocks before I went to work. But before we get into that, David D with another $2 super chat. Man, I hope you're budgeting your money. Appreciate it. How much are we winning by on Monday night? Well, you know what? We're going to get into Jets Bills a little bit later on, and I will be doing a game preview video. I'm going to give you kind of what my schedule is going to look like, especially for those of you who are new. Okay, so every Thursday night, I'm going to release my confidence picks. So what I'm going to do is pick the winners in every single game and rate them from 16, the game I have the most confidence in, or however many games there are. If it's 14 games, you give that a 14, down to 1, the game I have the least confidence in. So we did this every week last year. It was a lot of fun. Last year, I finished in the 95% bracket in the country. So I don't know how good I am against the spread, but I am pretty good at picking who's going to win a game. Then Friday night, I'm going to release my Jets game preview. And a part of that is going to be for the Virginia Jets fans as well. So there'll be some local club announcements, but I always break down the Jets offense against the opponent's defense, the opponent's offense versus the Jets defense, some random game notes. So watch for that every Friday. And Saturday, we're going to be doing our 5 bowl predictions. So always do 5 bowl predictions. That'll be on Saturday. And then finally, after the game, if it's a late game, I might do it the next morning. But the 3 key plays you may not recall that affected the outcome of the game. So count on a lot of regular content, usually the Wednesday Night Live. That's really the extravaganza that gets it all going, really. And then we do Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, and then after the game. So there's going to be a whole lot of content coming up on the WickerMedia channel. All right. So as far as the score, I don't have an exact score in mind yet, but we will break the game down a little bit now, and then we'll get more granular on Friday. Okay. So with Hard Knocks, it starts with the endless hallway, the 100-yard hallway that goes all the way down parallel to the Jets field, their practice facility in Florham Park. And we get the news there that the young wide receivers, Jason Brownlee and Xavier Gibson, have made the team. The Jets have actually brought on 3 undrafted wide receivers, Irv Charles being the other. But again, I found it so interesting that Corey Davis in his retirement was never even acknowledged by Hard Knocks. And I wonder if that was a decision the Jets made, if Douglas made it, if Saleh made it. But then again, on one Jets drive, remember, you saw Coach Saleh inform the whole team that Corey Davis was stepping away from the game and he wasn't coming back. So you have to wonder about that, why it was never even acknowledged on Hard Knocks. But I got to be honest, though. If I'm Brownlee, if I'm Gibson, shouldn't I have had a clue I was making the team? Because what do you always hear when these guys come in? What do they always say? Bring your playbook. Bring your playbook. These guys didn't have a playbook. That should have been their first clue right there that they were gonna make the team. Why do we bring in wide receivers? Yeah, the Jets brought in Jeff Smith, who'd been with them for a couple of years. They brought in Kennygolloday, which horrifies me, and I think should horrify just about every Jets fan. I mean, he burned out as bad as you can burn out. He was as big a free agent bust as the New York Giants have ever had, was Kennygolloday. I still think that after week 1, one of these receivers will get cut. I really think it's going to happen because the Jets are going to have to open up a roster spot to activate cornerback Brandon Eccles after he returns from his 1-game suspension. So to me, I got to be honest with you, I don't know if they really have that second starting receiver. If Lazard is your 3rd receiver and Hardeman is your 4th, you're fine. I'm good with that. but I'm a little bit worried about Lazard being your number 2 receiver. If they could add one more receiver, I would definitely be in favor of it. So we'll see what winds up happening. But again, they worked out some guys. I mean, as far as I know, there's no injuries going on. You remember that Hardman did bang his finger up in the last preseason game, but all these guys are practicing. So I'm not too worried about it just yet. But the fact that they were even entertaining the idea of Kennygolloday, that just does not seem like considering what 2 days ago, Connor McGovern, their center, said they got rid of all the bad apples. This isn't bringing in a bad apple. This would be bringing in a bad orchard. This is like a contagious apple that can contaminate the other apples. So I don't need any more. We don't need any contagious apples in our locker room. It took us long enough to turn the entire locker room over. If you were here last week, remember, we talked about the 2019 Jets roster and how drastically it's changed. There are only 3 Jets players who are on this team now that were here 4 years ago at this time. So it took long enough to fix it. Let's not screw it up by bringing in Kennygolloday. Oh, my gosh. I do not like that idea. Harlan makes a good point. How about waiting a few weeks and seeing what you have on the roster? Harlan, are you talking about patience here? What a novel concept that would be. Yeah, let's see what happens. But again, I really think that a lot of the early games, you're going to see Rodgers passing a lot to his tight ends, to his running backs, and trying to just be very efficient and move the ball down the field. I don't know how crazy they're going to get. I don't think you're going to be seeing like the greatest show on turf, with Kurt Warner to Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt and Ricky Prohl and those guys. So I really expect a lot of action with the tight ends and the running backs to start off. But we'll see what the wide receivers wind up doing. I'm all for giving them a couple of weeks, but my expectation is still Irv Charles is off the team after week 1, and the Jets try to bring him back to the practice squad. That's my thought on that. So you see that Tanzel Smart got cut. Of course, he came back on the practice squad, which I was very happy about. Israel Abanikanda, the running back, you got to see a little glimpse of his family. They are Nigerian and look like Mama Abanikanda. Yeah, Mama Abanikanda. Yeah, I like the sound of that. Looked like she was making a nice African stew with some rice and some nice tomato-ish gravy. So I wonder what the final product looked like. We really didn't get a final look. But then we had a very foreign concept. Aaron Rodgers talking about how he saw a UFO at Steve Levy's house in New Jersey. And the fact that they spent like 5 minutes on this, talking about UFOs, how out of ideas was HBO that they spent 5 minutes talking about a possible UFO sighting that Aaron Rodgers had? Here's what I want to know. What kind of mushrooms were those guys taking that night? I'm not saying I don't believe in aliens. I mean, if the power goes out on me in like the next minute, then assume it's an alien. But the fact that I just have to think that this had something to do with some mushrooms or some of those like little funny cigarettes they might have been smoking. I mean, who knows? But then you go, then they flip over to New York City. This whole welcome to New York City. You see a whole bunch of people working on the streets, doing their thing. Just another hustle and bustle day in downtown Manhattan. And then you see Broadway. When you're a jet all the way from your first cigarette to your last dying day. And you see about 15, 20 Jets going to see MJ, the Broadway musical about Michael Jackson's life. And it was cool to see people having fun at the show. There were people, this was amazing. There were people in New York standing up. They could sing. They could dance. I could tell you this. Some of the shows that I've been to in Chicago, like I've seen the Jimmy Buffett, God rest Jimmy Buffett's soul. He had a musical. I went to that. I went to a Billy Joel show as well. And everybody, it was like being in a library, the Library of Congress. Everyone was sitting. Nobody was singing along. New York is like the only place where I swear you can have fun at one of these shows and nobody cares. I mean, you spent all that money for those tickets. You're damn right you should be allowed to have fun and dance around and do whatever you want to do. Okay? Yeah, that's my white guy disco dance. I hope you appreciate it. I should make that a super chat. $20 super chat. I'll disco dance. I don't. And then you got to see Solomon Thomas go backstage and learn how to moonwalk. The actor who played Michael Jackson is teaching him the intricacies of moonwalking, which was just to see like a 350-pound man moonwalk like this. Oh my gosh, it really, really made me laugh. That was cool. So then we get serious and we go back to the field. The wide receiver coach was really talking with the 7 receivers, talking about growth. And what really reminded this reminded me of is, hard work is necessary to make it in the NFL or to make it in life in general. No matter what job you have, you've got to work hard. But at the end of the day, you also have to be growing. You can work as hard as you are just to stay afloat, but are you actually making forward motion as opposed to just staying where you've been? Because if you stay where you are, you're not getting better. You're just maintaining the status quo. And that's what I felt the wide receivers coach was really communicating to these receivers. So I really liked his message. Jeff Ulbrich is like a rock star. Jeff Ulbrich is like Mr. Quote, the defensive coordinator. All we got is all we need. I'm removing the F-bombs. Said it's our time to dominate. It was very Davey Johnson from the 1986 Mets. He said, I know we're going to dominate. And I could hear the confidence in Jeff Ulbrich, who's been coaching in this league for 20 years. You could tell he believes what he's saying. Then came Robert Saleh with the FU speech to the players, basically talking about when other coaches say, man, you guys played hard after a loss. You guys played hard. And Saleh's just talking about how he wants to tell them to basically say F you to them because, that's not enough. It's the goal of these teams is to be hated. There's an old saying, they hate us because they ain't us. I've never been able to say that because I haven't seen anybody win a championship in 29 years that I root for. But yeah, we want to be hated. And you know what? We are. The New York Jets are getting hated, whether it's ESPN, the analysts over there, whether it's these new clown producers at WFAN on talk radio, who are the absolute biggest giants, brown nosers you've ever seen in your life, doing everything they can. See, these people, they don't mind the Jets. They don't talk about the Jets when the Jets stink. But as soon as the Jets create a little bit of buzz, these Giants fans become so insecure, they just can't handle the thought, the concept, the idea that the New York Jets could actually be good, dare I say, contenders for a championship. It terrifies them because they'll cite their 4 Super Bowl rings, even though, granted, I was rooting for them in 2 of them, and maybe even 3 of them because they're playing New England. Screw them. So I didn't even mind it. But the fact that they are that scared, the fact that they need to throw 4 rings in our face when their 4 rings combined don't mean as much as what the Jets won back in 1969, just shows you how insecure these Giants fans are, how sad it is. I did find it interesting, though, at the end of Hard Knocks. The last thing that you saw was CJuzomah getting his hair dyed green. Hey, the Jets do well enough. Maybe I'll go green. I don't know about that. I don't know. Green hair? No, I don't think so. But he was the last player, and he that we saw in Hard Knocks, and he is quite the character, no doubt about it. I've said this before. I think of CJuzomah a little bit like I do Bart Scott. Not the best player at this point in his career, but great energy, great vibes, and great leadership, and that does go a long way. So those are my thoughts as far as Hard Knocks go. Also, I was going to mention Kennygolloday, but we already talked about him. No, Joe, no. Just say no. Say no to Kenny Go-Go. So the depth chart came out today. Now, I did find this kind of interesting. Now, it's a depth chart, so take it for whatever it's worth. And you're compensating for something if you call yourself Giants. Hank, we called ourselves the Titans. What did that say about us back in 1960? What does that say about Tennessee now? Yeah, I don't know. Do you think the San Francisco Giants have an issue with that? Maybe at the annual San Francisco Giants, New York Giants picnic when they have the relay race and everything like that, when the Giants and Giants get together. If you ever watch the old Mike Francesa show, you know what I'm talking about. But hey, who knows? Who really knows? Harlan, I like Uzoma too. A couple of us were on the air. I think we're on I want to say it was on Nick Shine's channel. I'm proud New York Jets fans. Go subscribe to that one too. But we were on the air, I believe, when the news broke, and man, we were celebrating. Those were good days. Those were good days when we did all this, we did all that crap together. It was fun, but yeah, we got to break the Uzama news on the air, just like over here. We broke the news about Denzel Mims getting traded. How much fun was that? Thank God for Sonny Werblin for changing the name in 1963 and changing the colors to green and white. Yeah. No doubt about it. But on the depth chart, I thought it was really interesting that Irv Charles is on the second tier of wide receivers. So you got Garrett Wilson and Al Lazard at tier 1. You've got McCole Hardman and Irv Charles on tier 2. But tier 3 is Jason Brownlee, Randall Cobb, and Xavier Gibson is behind them. I found that really interesting. I wonder if the Jets really do think that highly of Irv Charles. It's going to be very interesting if the Jets go to a 4 wide receiver set, against Buffalo, and I'm sure they will at some point. Who fulfills that, or maybe a 5 wide receiver set? Would they play a 5th receiver? Would they play a tight end? Would they put one of their running backs in the slot? Nathaniel Hackett's going to have some very, very big choices to make. Harlan says I froze. I don't know. Everything still I've got the feed going down here below and on my cell phone, and nothing seems too out of the ordinary. But sorry if that happened. But from what I could tell, everything seems to be all systems go. Also, Quentin Jefferson will be the starting defensive tackle. I think that is absolutely the right move. It's good again. Thank you very much. Because to be honest with you, I don't know what else I could do. But yeah, I think Gibson. And the other thing with the returner, it will be Xavier Gibson or McCole Hardman. To me, it's Gibson. Hardman, you give Gibson every chance to win the job at first because the Jets need Hardman to play wide receiver. They need him to be that deep threat, to be that gadget player. Gibson's job is going to be returning punts and kicks. So I think he's going to be a little bit boom or bust, but as long as he's not, dropping balls, then I think that's let's just take our chances. And the other thing that I noticed is just, if there's one thing that worries me with depth on this team, it's cornerback. After you get past the first 3, past Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Michael Carter II, and then when Brandon Echols comes back, this team's got nothing. I'm sorry. I do not trust Bryce Hall whatsoever. Justin Hardy, we know, is not a cornerback. He is a special teams player, and that's it. So I am a little bit worried about it. I'm not gonna kid you. So, yeah, these top 3 cornerbacks, they have got to stay healthy. And remember, last year they did. They've got to do it again. So just a couple of quick Jets news and notes. Now, let's go on to something a little bit different. What we're going to do right now is run through all 32 teams in the NFL. This is going to be your Wednesday night NFL preview. The season starts in 22 hours, and we're just going to have a little bit of fun. Harlan Abraham says Gibson will prove to be a good wide receiver. Yep, but I expect that it is going to take a little bit of time. So we will see, but if he can help right now on special teams and returning, that's good enough for me, man. Yeah, but I sincerely hope that you're right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go through all 32 teams in the NFL. I'm going to give you what I think their season record is going to be. I'm going to give you something I like about each team. I'm going to give you something I dislike about each team. And then we're going to talk about who's going to make the playoffs. We're going to break down every single round of the playoffs, who's going to advance all the way to the Super Bowl. And I might even give you a few award winners at the end of the season. Okay, so we're going to start with the NFC first. Why would I start with the AFC? I got to give you something to look forward to, right? So in the NFC East, I got the Philadelphia Eagles finishing with the best record in the conference with a 14-3 record. Here's what I like. That offense can beat you in every single way. I don't think there's a more complete offense. Between the offensive line, they have multiple running backs, multiple receivers, a great tight end in Dallas Goedert, and Jalen Hurts can throw the ball and he can run it. He really is. A lot of quarterbacks, you see one or the other. But to me, I don't think there is a more complete offense through all of the positions than there is in Philadelphia. And the Jets trying to stop them in week 6 is going to be a fascinating matchup. Here's what I don't like. I don't know if Philadelphia can stop the run consistently. They had some losses during this offseason at linebacker and safety. TJ Edwards, the safety with the long name, I went to CJ Gardner-Johnson, I believe his name is. He left as well. So there is a little bit of a loss there. Now they can plug in Nakobe Dean, and that could work as well. I like Jordan Davis at defensive tackle. But one thing that Philadelphia does struggle with is stopping the run from game to game. Let's see how they do with that this year. Okay, second place, I've got the Dallas Cowboys finishing 10-7 and making the playoffs as a wild card. I like that their team is all about pressure. Not just Micah Parsons, but Dante Fowler, DeMarcus Lawrence, Sam Williams. That defense is all about relentless pressure. I really like the way they play. And Parsons, I think, could have a historical season. I think he is that good, and he's only getting better. From the reports that I've seen, he's learning how to use his hands better. You know, he was getting by really on his his physical freak talent. But now he's learning more about how to play. He's refining his technique, and that just makes him that much more dangerous this season. What I don't trust is their special teams, especially their kicking game. Brandon Aubrey is a 28-year-old rookie. I expect Dallas is going to have a lot of close games this year, and they've had some issues over the last couple of years with their kickers. They finally gave up on Brandon Maher. They got rid of him, and they are trusting their kicking game to a rookie in Brandon Aubrey. Let's see what happens. In third place, I've got the New York Giants missing the playoffs with an 8-9 record. I love their interior defensive line with Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams, the ex-Jet. There may not be a better combination at defensive tackle in football. Well, here's what I don't like. It's really the intangibles. Last year, the Giants were winning with mirrors. Do you know that the Giants in this defense, great as Wink Martindale is, they blitzed 40% of the time last season. They were great in one-score games, but you can't count on that happening from year to year. Sometimes you just have a break go your way. And, hey, that's a credit to Brian Daboll, who's a very good head coach. But I just don't think you could count on lightning striking twice in a row. And then throw in Evan Neal at right tackle. He was terrible last season. Can he step up in similar a way that Andrew Thomas did? Because if Evan Neal can't hold down the fort at right tackle, that's going to slow down the entire offense. And then finally, in the NFC East, 5-12, I've got the Washington Communists, Communals, whatever their name is right now. I like their defensive line a whole lot with Jonathan Allen and Darren Payne. That's a defensive tackle combination that is not far off from the New York Giants. Throw in Chase Young and Montez Sweat. That's an amazing front four. They're almost like the Jets in training, just without the depth, right? They got the talent. They just can't go 8 deep like the Jets can, or even 9 deep. What I don't like is I don't know about the relationship between this offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy, who came over from Kansas City, and Sam Howell. Will this work? Bieniemy has been used to Patrick Mahomes, one of the greatest quarterbacks that we've ever seen, on his way to maybe becoming the best ever. What's it going to be like when he is working with a quarterback who is clearly less talented? That's something to keep in mind. How will this offense function? Okay. On to the NFC North Division, the North. I've got the winner being the Detroit Lions at 10-7. I love this offensive line. You've got multiple Pro Bowlers between Taylor Decker, Penny Sewell, Frank Ragnow. I really like the line. And the running backs in David Montgomery and Jair Gibbs. Watch out. That's going to be a heck of an offense. Of course, Amon-Ra St. Brown and wide receiver. Jameson Williams will be back down the road. And I think you put in the right stuff around Jared Goff, he's gonna thrive. Again, the dislike, Harlan Abraham, the Giants. That was still more than any team in the league, though. You got to keep in mind that's I think that's overall. I don't even think that's just passing downs. Okay, but yeah, the Giants did blitz more than any other team in the NFL. So just to point that out. Now, I don't know about Detroit's ability to stop the run. Last year, their run defense allowed 5.2 yards per rushing attempt. That was the second most in the league. That they have to fix this season if they're going to take the next step. Coming in second, I've got the Chicago Bears at 9-8. I like the Bears to take a big step up this season from their 3-win 2022 season. DJ Moore is going to be the receiver that they've needed, but this is going to be based off the run game. Justin Fields is still there. He's still their most dynamic runner. But between the Dante Foremans, the Khalil Herberts, the Rashawn Johnsons, I think they're going to be able to do enough to get this thing moving along. And I think they have Darnell Wright at right tackle, who's going to be an excellent run blocker. I think he's going to work out very, very well. Okay, then we go to third place, the Minnesota Vikings. I've got them missing the playoffs. I think they take a big step back. I like that they added around Justin Jefferson. They drafted Jordan Addison. They now have a full season of TJ Hawkinson as well at tight end. But they went last year, the Vikings went 11-0 in one-possession games last season. I talked about the Giants winning with mirrors. The Vikings did it more than anybody. A quick swig of water here. So I just feel like the Vikings are going to take a pretty big step back here. Losing Dalvin Cook, I think, really does hurt. And I don't think they've done enough to fix their secondary. They had a pretty weak secondary last year. I just don't think they've done enough. I'll give you Green Bay, then I'm going to go back to GVH's comment. I'm coming right to you, brother. Green Bay. So I got them finishing 6-11. Now I like the offensive line with Bakhtiari, Elgin Jenkins, John Runyon, Zach Tom, all those guys. And the Packers ranked 5th in pass block win rate last season and 8th in run block win rate. So they got a very good offensive line that will make life a whole lot easier for Jordan Love. What I don't like is that they have a ton of youth, but pretty much only youth at the skill position. You know, their most experienced wide receivers are Christian Watson and Romeo Dubs, and they're both nursing hamstring injuries right now. But you got a rookie at tight end. You've got a rookie third wide receiver as well. I don't like A.J. Dillon. I think he's been a major underachiever in his career as well. I would feel better if the Packers had like a real veteran wide receiver, like a Marvin Jones, a Jamison Crowder, that kind of a receiver to help lead the way, but they chose to not invest in that. I think that's going to be a mistake. So GVH says, when was the last time anyone in existence had the Lions winning the division? Credit their coach and a Kirk Cousins-led division. Outside on NFC South and AFC South wide open. I would say the South, the NFC South, I'm pretty confident who's going to win that division. And the South, I think the South and North are probably the two divisions I would say I'm most confident in predicting a division winner for. I would probably say that. And we're going to get to those divisions in a moment. Speaking of, let's just go to the NFC South right now. I've got the New Orleans Saints winning that division with an 11-6 record. They have a super easy schedule, about the easiest in football. They're facing the AFC South, the aforementioned AFC South. Plus, look at the other quarterbacks in their division. Desmond Ridder, Baker Mayfield, a rookie, and Bryce Young. So I think the defense, if you got the fantasy defense for New Orleans in your fantasy league, you made a very good selection. Just a little tip for you. What I don't like is that their defense, their turnover differential last year was -11. I think they're going to be a lot better at that this year. But last year, I talk about the Jets not turning the other team over. I mean, the Saints were absolutely horrific at it. Absolutely horrific. That's right. Hank G. Yes, Hank G. The Saints are our favorites with our rejects. With the guy that we thought about, our backup plan, our contingency plan, right? Our consolation prize. But hey, good for them. New Orleans felt that they could make a move to win the division, make the playoffs. And if they don't win the division, then their season is an absolute disappointment in my mind. Now, coming in second, this might surprise a few people out there. In fact, I know it will. But I'm going to pick the Carolina Panthers to come in second. All right? I love that they added Frank Reich. I've always been a fan of his as coach. I just feel with this division, as bad as it is, one of these three teams has to emerge. I think their defense has talent on all three levels, especially with Justin Houston and Brian Burns rushing the passer. I think Brian Burns is going to be up there for Defensive Player of the Year. I think he'll finish in the top 3. I think he is putting everything together right now. I'm just a very big Brian Burns fan. And I like the wide receiver core with Thielen and Chark. I know there's another one who I'm forgetting off the top of my head. But I think they added some good veterans to that wide receiver room to help Bryce Young along. And I know they drafted Jonathan Mingo as well. They can develop him slowly. I think they might get off to a slow start. Like, I'm not too confident they're beating Atlanta on the road in week 1, but I think Carolina will upset some teams along the way. Third place, I got Atlanta at 6-11. I like the run game with Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. My dislike is the quarterback. From what I saw with Desmond Ridder, he looks like he is tailor-made for the XFL or the USFL. He just looks like as vanilla and as boring a quarterback as I've ever seen. It's like he's like a poor man's Andy Dalton. He may not make mistakes, but do I trust Desmond Ridder to drive my team down the field and win a game? By no means do I see that happening. So I just have no confidence in Desmond Ridder. Brian Burns, as far as I know he's playing, I don't know of any holdout. I don't think he's holding out at all. This is not a Chris Jones situation. As far as I know, it's all systems go with Burns. And in last place, I've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 4-11. I like that they have a great wide receiving core with Evans and Godwin, at least to start the season, because I think it is a very distinct possibility one of these wide receivers will get traded in the middle of the season. And with some depth, you've got Trey Palmer, you've got Devin Tompkins, very good young depth of wide receiver. What I dislike, 2 words, Todd Bowles. Do I need to say anything else other than Todd Bowles is the head coach of this team? Please. So that's the NFC South. Now in the West, I've got the San Francisco 49ers winning the division at 11-6. Now that here, I love this defense. The Niners defense allowed 277 points last year. That is crazy good. They will return all 7 defenders who played at least 700 snaps last season. So a ton of continuity with San Francisco. My dislike with this team is the offensive line apart from Trent Williams. They lost Mike McGlinchey to free agency. They kept Jake Brendel at center. Not too great. I'm just a little bit worried about the offensive line protecting Brock Purdy and opening up holes up the middle for Christian McCaffrey or Elijah Mitchell. So the offensive line is going to have to really do it. Second place, I've got just missing the playoffs. I've got the Seattle Seahawks. Actually, let me make sure. Yeah, 1, 2. Actually, I got Seattle making it. Excuse me. So how could you not love the receiving core in Seattle? DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, drafting Jackson Smith-Njigba as a third receiver. Plus, you got a pretty nice 1-2 punch at tight end with Noah Fant, who came over in the Russell Wilson trade from Denver, and Will Dillsley is a nice second tight end as well. What I dislike is their defensive line. Now, it's pretty interesting what Seattle did. They overhauled the defensive line. They let go of Poona Ford, who I wanted the Jets to sign. He goes to Buffalo. And they also let go of Quinn Jefferson and Al Woods, both of whom go to the Jets. So it is kind of funny that the defensive tackle from Seattle I wanted went to a division rival, and the Jets got the other 2 instead. Not complaining about it. It's just funny how that worked out. Hank G wants to know, will Adams be back in full capacity for the Seahawks? Yes, he has been cleared. So Adams should be on the field week 1, from what we have last heard. Okay, and so what the Seahawks did to try to fix it is sign Dre'Mont Jones. They've got Marion Edwards. They've got Jerron Reed. But I'm not too sold on the front of that defensive line. There's a part of me that wanted to pick Seattle to tie San Francisco for the division win because I like the way Seattle's building their team. I just think San Francisco is a more complete, more seasoned team. Plus, I don't know if I trust Geno to replicate his performance from last year. Okay, then we go to the dregs of the division, the LA Rams. I've got them finishing 5-12. I like the passing game. You know, this is interesting. The Rams have finished in the top 5 in passing yards per game in 3 of the last 5 seasons. And one of the reasons why it didn't happen last year was the injuries, especially when Cooper Kupp got hurt. And that's also my dislike is Cooper Kupp's hamstring. You know, as somebody who in my one money fantasy league, I drafted Cooper Kupp with my first draft choice, was doing great. He got hurt, and it was never the same again, right? So to me, the fact that Kupp is already confirmed to be missing week 1, he's probably going to miss a lot more than that. So, and even if he does play, how healthy is he going to be? Because Cooper Kupp is one of the few reasons to watch the LA Rams, probably along with Cam Akers and Aaron Donald. So it's really unfortunate that he is still not right. Let's say a quick hello to the great Ryan Jet. What's up, Watsuki? Well, what's up with you, Ryan Jet? I'm looking forward to the Jet games as well. Yep, I can't wait to see you down there. It's going to be a lot. Oh, yeah, we got the raffle prizes ready to go. We got the schedule all planned out. I'm super, super excited for Monday night. Yeah, definitely. Plus, I think they're going to have some pretty good. I know they're going to have the shrimp cocktail specials, and the well drinks are probably like $3 on Monday nights. So can't complain about that. Yeah. Savage Jedi Rusty Spooner, the one who finds Rusty's diamonds. The man, one of the best people to find those under the radar draft talents is the great Rusty Spooner. Let's go Jets. Allen is a dead man walking, being on the cover of Madden and also going down in stock big time without Dable. I'm telling you, the Bills are done. Well, I've got my thoughts on the Bills, and you're going to hear those in a little bit. I will say this. Losing Leslie Frazier as a defensive coordinator, I think that is a loss for them. But it's, you know what? I'm not ready to count Buffalo out yet. I feel like there's a lot of people counting them out just a little bit too much right now. But that first game, it's going to go a long way to determining this division title. Rusty says 70-plus sacks this year. You know, I did my Jets prediction video. Y'all can check that out in the archives if you want. Last year, I predicted 45 sacks, and I hit it on the nose. Rivka picked 45 as well. She hit it exactly right, too. I think I went with 52 sacks this year. So basically 3 a game, and it could very well be more. It absolutely could. I do think a lot of these teams are going to go to a lot of very short passes out of the backfield to try to negate the pass rush, though. So I do think they're going to come up with some ideas to try to negate that, set up screens, because let me know when the Jets can defend a screen pass correctly, okay? But 70-plus sacks, hey, the Eagles could do it. Maybe the Jets could do it too. Yeah, we love you too, man. Yeah, absolutely. Nothing but love in this room. Nothing but love. Okay, so that's for the Rams. Now, at the very bottom of the list, we've got the Arizona Cardinals. I've got them. I'm being very generous. I've got them finishing at 2-15, the worst record in the NFL. So as far as what I like with the Arizona Cardinals, they have a great, a really good. Well, there's also that on the Cardinals roster. One thing they really do very, very well is that they can. I got nothing. Sorry, I got nothing. Okay, Zaven Collins and BJ Ojulari can generate a little bit of a pass rush. Okay, my dislike, the hiring of Jonathan Gannon. Guys, I was talking about this the very day it happened. The day that the Cardinals signed Jonathan Gannon, I said, this is going to be a Ray Handley, Rich Kotite, Matt Patricia, Ken Wisenhunt after he left Arizona and went to Tennessee. It is going to be a nightmare. Jonathan Gannon is going to go down, I can tell you, as a horrible head coach on the level. Arizona hires, as bad as the Jets have been at hiring some of their head coaches, the Adam Gases of the world and some of these Todd Bowles, Arizona is another level of ineptitude when it comes to hiring a coach. All right, we go back through those names. I mean, you know what? I wasn't going to do this, but what the heck? Let's just go through this. But I'm going to tell you this while I'm looking this up. You know that the day after the Eagles lost the Super Bowl, I turned on Philadelphia sports radio because I wanted to hear how the fans were reacting to the team losing. And first call, guys, we got to fire Jonathan Gannon. We got to get rid of Gannon. He didn't have this team ready to play. Next call, I can't deal with Gannon anymore. This is after the Eagles broke the record for sacks in the season, I believe, and made it all the way to the Super Bowl. Everybody wanted him fired. You know, all these fans want him fired. 3 days later, the Cardinals signed him. It's just unbelievable. Yes, I played a crooked soundbite. I was just waiting for the right time. The Jets gave up 25 points, Ryan Jet says, 3 times last year. Bills couldn't score more than 20 on us, and that was at home. That's right. Yep, this will be a defensive battle Monday night. Jets win 21-16. Who do the Cards beat? I think they can beat the Rams at home. I do think they could do that. Good linebacker in line. That Buda Baker. They could go 0-17. It is not impossible. All right, let's just go real quickly here through the head coaches that they've had. I'm not going to go back to the 30s because the Cardinals actually go back to 1920 and Patty Driscoll, right? Yeah, the Patty Driscoll Bowl. I don't know. All right, so they had they had Don Coryell at one point. That wasn't too bad. Let's just go to Buddy Ryan. Okay, when they became the Arizona Cardinals, they had Buddy Ryan for 94 and 95. They went 12-20 with Buddy Ryan, who excellent defensive coordinator, not a good head coach. Vince Tobin for 4 years, 28 and 43. Dave McGinnis for 96, 97, 98, 99. Vince Tobin had 5 years, 28 and 43. Dave McGinnis for 4 years, 17 and 40. Dennis Green, you remember Dennis Green? The Bears, who we thought they were. If you let them off the hook, if you want to crowd them, then crowd Bears. God bless Denny Green. God bless him. Dennis Green went 16 and 32 in 3 years. Ken Wisenhunt was there for a long time, got him to a Super Bowl, won 45 and 51. Then came Bruce Arians, who did very well, 49, 30, and 1. And then, oh my God, Steve Wilkes, 3 and 13, and he got fired. Then Cliff Kingsbury, 28, 37, and 1. And now on to Jonathan Gannon. They have made some lousy head coaching hires. Lousy. And this one may go down with one of the worst. Yep. Yeah, I was living in Chicago at the time watching that game, and oh my goodness, what a night that was. That game was like you could see it coming, just how the Cardinals were just going to blow that game. Once the ball was in Devin Hester's hands, you knew it was about over. Yeah, we'll always love Adrian Morrell. Yeah, I went to Arizona, but I'd say it worked out okay because the Jets got Curtis Martin right afterwards. So it was like going from Bryce Hall to Sauce Gardner. That's the comparison that you got to make there, right? Jake Plummer, yeah, Jake the Snake. It took me a second to realize which Jake the Snake you were talking about. Yeah, he really did get abused, but yeah, the Cardinals have not had it easy at all. All right, so there's my thoughts on the NFC. I'll get to the playoffs in a moment. It's already 10:55. Gosh, dang, where does the night go? Guys, we're gonna hang here for a little while, okay? Let's hang out together for sure. I got all night. Why not? All right, let's go to the AFC. I'm going to start with the AFC North Division. I'm saving the East for last, guys. All right, I got the Cincinnati Bengals winning the division at 12-5. I love their offensive efficiency. They last year were fifth in points per drive, fifth in red zone efficiency, both highs with Joe Burrow at quarterback. The offense just seems to get a little bit better every year. Let's see how they do now with Orlando Brown playing left tackle, signed away from Kansas City in free agency. And as bad as Jonah Williams has played at times, now he's playing right tackle. And from what I hear, he's taking to it very well. So that might help save his career. Coming in second place, 10-7, making the playoffs, I've got the Baltimore Ravens. That offense is looking better and better. Since 2019, Baltimore has averaged 26.9 points per game with Lamar Jackson playing quarterback. They've added Zay Flowers at wide receiver, which was a great draft pick. Odell Beckham, who I think is about done, but let's see what happens. And they added Todd Monken as their offensive coordinator as well. Plus, you have a healthy J.K. Dobbins coming in. So I think their offense is going to be improved. I don't know about their defense as much, though, especially cornerback. Marlon Humphrey is coming off foot surgery. Their next three cornerbacks have all been injured as well. And here's the thing. So Rusty says he thinks the Ravens are going to steal the North. You can make it, guys, think about it. You can make an argument for any team in the North winning that division. Any one of them. And I'm going to go through all of them. But you could say Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, or Cincy would win. And I'd be like, cool, I could see it happen. But here's the thing. Without Humphrey missed 5 games for Baltimore last year, okay? Baltimore, in those 5 games, allowed an average of 295 passing yards per game and 12 passing touchdowns in 5 games without Marlon Humphrey. Okay? He is needed in that secondary. This defense is not as good as it has been. When we think Baltimore, we think run the ball defense. This is going to be a little flashier Baltimore team than what we're used to. Okay? But then again, with John Harbaugh, I'll trust John Harbaugh as much as I will any coach in the NFL. Just about. And that's how much I think of him. All right, in third place, with a 9-8 record, just one game out of the playoffs. I'm picking the Pittsburgh Steelers. I love the pass rush with T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith. Highsmith coming off a 14.5 sack season. They added Marcus Golden. They drafted Nick Herbig, who Jets fans know, with his brother playing offensive line the last 2 years. And Nick Herbig, guys, he's looking good. That's going to be a very good draft pick. What I don't like as much is the Steelers tackle situation. Broderick Jones is not expected to be in the starting lineup this coming Sunday when they host San Francisco. And that's the game I'd be watching, San Francisco-Pittsburgh. That's for a non-conference game. That's going to be a fun game to watch. Niners-Steelers. They've got Dan Moore and Chukwuma Okorafor. I had to spend time working on that name. But I don't, as much as I may like the interior offensive line, I don't trust especially the outside offensive tackles here with Pittsburgh. But definitely a good defense with T.J. Watt, Mika Fitzpatrick, and the like. And in last place, but finishing still with a respectable 8-9 record, I've got the Cleveland Browns. I love that offensive line. Okay, with Jedrick Wills, Joel Bitonio, Ethan Posick, Wyatt Teller, and Jack Conklin. That is a very, very good offensive line, and it's the reason why Nick Chubb ran the ball so well last season. What I don't like, and also if you look at the defense, you've got Myles Garrett, to rush the passer. They signed Dalvin Tomlinson at defensive tackle away from Minnesota, which is really, really good. I like their linebackers with J.O.K. Anthony Walker's there. You got Denzel Ward at cornerback. I mean, here's the biggest thing you say with the Browns. They're the Browns. And is Kevin Stefanski really that good of a head coach? Also, I don't like their special teams. They lost Jakeem Grant, who was a Pro Bowl returner last season. They lost him for the year, and they traded for a new kicker. They traded for Dustin Hopkins. They gave up on Cade York and signed him to the practice squad. So I think the AFC North may be the best division in all of football, 1 through 4. I don't know if there's another division where you can make that much of an argument for any team to win the division. And of course, yeah, Elijah Moore is there as well. Ryan Jett makes a good point. The only thing is you don't know what Deshaun's going to be. I think they have the pieces around him that he's going to need with Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, Donovan Peoples-Jones, David Njoku, the offensive line, which we just mentioned, Nick Chubb running the ball. Deshaun has everything around him he could ever want. The question is, can he still do what he had been doing while he was with the Houston Texans? Rusty Spooner asks, is Elijah Moore hurt? I'd heard something, but as far as I know, he's playing. I'll make a quick check here for you. And then we'll go on to the AFC South. Let's see. Bleacher Report now just says Elijah Moore has nice on-field chemistry with Deshaun Watson. I don't see anything really too out of the ordinary here. I'll hit the news link here one time. Yeah, I don't see any injury news about Elijah Moore. So, yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Through my Google machine, didn't see anything. Okay, AFC South, Jacksonville's winning this division, 11-6 record. I like that Calvin Ridley looks ready to go and is already developing that connection with Trevor Lawrence. It's going to make that offense that much more complete. Now Christian Kirk is a number 2 wide receiver, which is what he should be, a complementary receiver, kind of like an Eric Decker, that kind of receiver. That's how I think of Christian Kirk. What I dislike is the pass rush, okay? Last year, the Jaguars had just 35 sacks in 17 games, and they lost Arden Key to free agency, who is one of their biggest contributors. And they didn't really invest in it during the offseason. What they're really counting on is Trayvon Walker, who I've never been a mark for Trayvon Walker, despite him being drafted number 1 overall recently. Trayvon Walker is going to have to make a big jump for this defense to take that next step. So I like Jacksonville because the rest of the division stinks. But, yeah, I'm not sure I love Jacksonville against the best competition. Okay. Coming in second place in this division, I've got the Houston Texans with a 6-10 record. I like the overall vibe with DeMeco Ryans, but they really made a lot of additions to this roster. Devin Singletary at running back, Dalton Schultz at tight end, Shaq Mason at guard. And then on defense, you had Sheldon Rankins from the Jets at defensive tackle, Hassan Ridgeway, Denzel Perriman at linebacker, cornerback Shaq Griffin, safety Jimmy Ward from the Niners. They drafted Will Anderson. So that gives them another elite pass rusher. Okay. So all of that, Houston's got a very good bunch of players. And I think DeMeco Ryans is going to be good enough to bring it together. I just don't know about CJ Stroud yet. He's been looking very unpolished in the preseason. Let's see what he has to give. But I think Houston's going to upset some teams along the way, especially later on in the season. And then also finishing 6-10, I've got the Tennessee Titans. I love the run defense led by Jeffrey Simmons. Last year, Tennessee allowed a league-best 76.9 rushing yards per game. Okay? Here's what I dislike. They have, in my mind, the worst offensive line in the NFL, and I'm very worried about Derrick Henry running behind them at some point. Aaron Brewer is their one returning starter, and he's moving from left guard to center. So I have a very bad feeling about the Tennessee offense. I think that's what's going to cost them a lot of games this season. Just remind everybody, please please subscribe if you haven't already. Feel free if you have any questions for me or any comments. You're more than welcome to leave your opinion, to leave your thoughts. We'll do trivia a little bit later on tonight. I got a great Jets-Bills trivia question for you. I'm really excited to give that to you. All right, last place in the AFC South, I got the Indianapolis Colts finishing 4-13. I like the run defense with the Forrest Buckner and Grover Stewart. I dislike their depth. All right. They got a lot of first and second year players in that secondary. The offensive line is very, very thin. And you got a lot of unproven players like Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman occupying key roles at wide receiver. And they're working with a rookie quarterback in Anthony Richardson. I think Richardson's going to look a lot like Justin Fields did last year, where him running the ball is going to be their most potent weapon. All right. Rusty Spooner, rumor has it that Miami is trying for Henry. That would suck. Miami's trying for everybody at this point, But, I mean, between Mostert, Wilson, the rookie, Devon, the rookie that they drafted, I think they got a pretty deep running back room. That's my opinion. I don't know if they really need an upgrade. But you know what? They could try all they want. Hasn't happened yet. Hey, Stephen T, do you still do trivia on Green Bean's Thursday show? As of now, I don't. Green Bean decided he wanted to make some changes with his channel. And it's, like I said, his channel. He could do whatever he wants with it. I know he was going through some stuff with his channel, so he felt he had to change formats a little bit. So this is the place to come for Jets trivia. Yep. Tell your friends if you want the Jets trivia. I always do it. We're going to do it every Wednesday night during the season, and we'll still do Jets trivia during the off season. But I'll do trivia with a variety of teams at that point. Yeah, Miami is desperate to sign some players. They still got a deep roster, but it's they got a very good roster. I don't know how deep it is. So, there we go. Nice 26-ounce blender bottle. It's green. Yeah, and I pretty much need all 26 ounces to get through it. Okay, AFC West. Let's go to the AFC West. I got Kansas City winning it 13-4, finishing with home field advantage in the AFC. All right. Will Jordan Love be the Jets quarterback in 2037? Yes. But I think they might use him as an H-back as opposed to a quarterback. Kansas City, what can I say? I like the improved depth at the skill positions. They got a pretty decent punch at running back now that Pacheco has been elevated. Rashee Rice, I thought, was a very good draft pick at wide receiver. I think he will grow along the way. What I dislike is that they changed their starting offensive tackles, Donovan Smith and Jawan Taylor. So you got 2 new tackles in place. Let's see if they're up to the job. Of course, that interior offensive line is as good as it gets with Joe Thuney, with Creed Humphrey. Just absolutely, and I think it was a trade. Yeah, and I forgot the other player, but yeah, definitely led by Humphrey and Thuney. It's pretty hard to beat that. Yeah, Leonard Fournette's still a free agent. I don't know why he hasn't, and Kareem Hunt as well. Yeah, none of those guys have signed yet. Miami does have home run hitters. They can score on you, but I don't know if I trust Mike McDaniel, one, and you can't trust. I don't know if you can ever trust his health again going forward. I don't know if you can. That's that's not a prediction. That's just the fact of life at this point. So, Ryan Jett, in my opinion, Anthony Richardson has the highest ceiling of the quarterbacks from this draft class. Yeah, I think you could very well be correct on that. Reminds me of a Cam Newton, but a lot more raw. He might be fantastic if he could be awful. Well, I definitely like Richard's raw ability. I like him a lot more than I like, say, a Will Levis or somebody like that. Again, I'm not a big college football watcher, but from the clips I've seen, I think Richardson has the chance to be the most dynamic weapon of any team, of any quarterback that came out of that draft. Rusty Spooner, Chargers are the best shitty team, if that makes sense. Crazy how much talent they have there. They sure do, and yet they always – Chargers get a Charger. There's a reason why it's a thing. Yeah. What happened to Green Bean's channel? I have not heard. Grandizer? I don't know. I think he's doing his thing on the Talking Jets. I think Ryan O'Leary. I don't know exactly the exact arrangement that they have. I know that they do their shows together on the Talking Jets channel, and I think Green Bean does it there as well. So, last I heard. What are you going to do? Yeah, the best things aren't always meant to last forever, unfortunately. Things appreciate what you have while you have it, because it may not be here tomorrow. And hopefully better things come from it. Entering a season, Stephen T, would you say the 98? I got a huge fly. He's just like flying all over the place here. Man, it's crazy. These lights, the lights are attracting the flies. Entering the season, when you say the 98 Jets or 2023 Jets are better, I've got to go. The one thing I would say about the 98 Jets, they had about as good a coaching staff as you could ever ask for. I don't think the talent of the Jets in 98 was the best, but I feel like the coaching was as good as you could ever ask. I'm going to pull up the 98 Jets coaching staff here. Let's see if I can find the whole thing. I think I can. We all know Parcells was the head coach. Belichick was defensive coordinator. Let's see here. We can find it. Oh yes, coaching tree hot seat. Yeah, I think we got it here. I'm literally looking this literally on the go here. I believe you had Charlie Weiss. Yeah, Charlie Weiss was the offensive. Okay, here it is. Charlie Weiss was the offensive coordinator. Belichick defensive coordinator. Romeo Crennel defensive line coach. Al Groh, linebacker coach, Todd Haley, offensive assistant, Eric Mangini, defensive assistant. That was pretty dang good. But if you look at the 1998 Jets like depth chart, yeah, let's pull this depth chart up right here. I'm just doing one of these days. I'll figure out how to put it up. I'll share the screen. But the last time I tried doing it completely failed. So I got to play with that a little bit more. But like your front defensive line was Rick Lyle, Jason Ferguson, and Ernie Logan, and the linebackers were and Anthony Pleasant. So you didn't exactly have a fierce defensive line or anything like that. The offensive line was pretty good. It was Jumbo Elliott, Todd Berger, Kevin Mawai, Matt O'Dwyer, and Jason Fabini. Obviously, Mawai went to the Hall of Fame. Jumbo Elliott had a long career. Fabini turned out well, but I mean the guards were Todd Berger and Matt O'Dwyer. So to me, I don't know. I don't think the Jets in '98 has as talented a roster as I think this team does. That's how I really feel. God, he was playing close to some other channels. Okay. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what the story is. So, Nolte, what's up? Be nice to people as the channel goes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely true. Even when we disagree with each other, just got to do it in a respectful way. That's absolutely true. Trivia, true or false, Grandizer asked, the Jets will pull off a big trade for a player need for the deadline? Yes. I think the Jets will absolutely do that. I made that prediction on my prediction video. I do think the Jets will make a trade for a player. I think it's going to be for a wide receiver. And if I had to bet on a player, I think it's going to be Mike Evans. That's my prediction. I really don't believe Devontae Adams is going anywhere. We got to remember, the Jets cannot trade a 1 or a 2 first or second round draft pick in 2024 before the trade deadline, because until the Aaron Rodgers trade is finalized, okay, the Rodgers trade has to be finalized to know if that pick that we're giving to Green Bay is either a 1 or a 2. Until that happens, until we know that, we have to keep both picks. So we could give up a third or a fourth or something like that in 2024, or a first round pick in 2025. So you have to wonder, because Devontae Adams, it's going to take at least a second round pick to get Adams. I don't think there's any question about it. So let's see what winds up happening. But I think we got to go maybe a level down to maybe a Mike Evans. I think that's a very reasonable target, especially if Tampa falls out of it. Okay. Then I've got the Chargers coming in second, making the playoffs. Love the passing game. I think, though, they could have used the tight end. I think it would have really helped elevate their game. I think they need somebody younger and more dynamic than Gerald Everett. I know they had a Quentin Johnson, a wide receiver, but I would have added a tight end. I dislike the coach. I think just about everybody does. Third place, I've got Denver. I like the offseason additions. They added Zach Allen, Frank Clark, Mike McGlinchey, big additions. Of course, Sean Payton has the job of getting Russell Wilson back on track. And of course, most importantly, the most important signing of the offseason Denver made, right? Mike Westhoff as special teams assistant. We all love Westy, don't we? So he's over in Denver. What I dislike is they have no depth left. They traded 5 or 6 picks to get Wilson and Peyton on their team. So they have not had a lot of big picks to work with. So if they get injured, they are really going to suffer for it. Rusty Spooner, you're exactly right. And I did a video. I hate to keep referencing what I've done, but hey, what can I do? It's my channel. I got to do it. Yeah. I referenced the 5 most, I think it was underappreciated Jets, or the 5 most indispensable Jets outside of Aaron Rodgers, of course. And my number 5 was Michael Carter II. Because without MC2, who do we have as a slot corner? Nobody. Guidry's gone. Jarek Bernard-Converse is on injured reserve right now, or on the PUP list. There's nobody else to play that role. So, yeah, MC2 is essential. Yeboah is on the PUP list right now, John. He is out for the first 4 games, but he will be back. I believe he will be on the roster. He is very much needed on special teams. I think he had the most special team snaps of anybody on this team last year, more than Justin Hardy. And that is saying something, right? Take off. That's right. Absolutely. Okay, and one more team in the West. That's the Oakland Raiders. I've got them at 6-11, finishing last. I like the run game with Josh Jacobs. I dislike the defense outside of Max Crosby. Last year, the Raiders picked off only 6 passes last year. A Fungus Among Us 9, welcome to the stream, buddy. Good to see you. Westhoff is the GOAT, and there is no second place. Westhoff should be in the Hall of Fame. No question about it, and I hope he gets inducted very, very soon. He absolutely deserves that honor. No doubt about it. All right, and let's see if with Oakland, let's see if Tyree Wilson can be that second partner in crime that Max Crosby really, really, really needs. And Stephen T is also pointing out, yes, was going to get to that. Chandler Jones going off on Tuesday on the Raiders organization. Right now, he is not expected to be playing for the foreseeable future. Personally, I would hold him out for about the first 9-10 weeks. Make sure his mind's absolutely right. Make sure everything is okay. And he absolutely went off on the general manager. I think on the owner as well. I think maybe Josh McDaniels too. But yeah, he is not happy at all. And the Raiders are saying very little about it. So very, very big. Yeah, I was very happy we kept Yeboah, Dean, and don't forget Zach Kuntz. Don't forget my man Kuntz from Old Dominion University. We kept Kuntz, and I'm just as happy to keep him. Yeah, Westhoff retired. Yeah, there are a couple of us trying to talk to him about having him on a show. I was even going to talk to him about coming down to one of the Virginia Jets fans events, but yeah, that's going to be on hold right now. I want to go back to Jets mess. 6 wins with Jimmy G. That's low. Mess, here's the thing. Somebody in that division, somebody in the AFC has got to lose some games. And to me, I like Denver more than I like the Raiders. I mean, guys, let's think about it. How many AFC teams would you say going into this season have a legitimately don't have a legit chance to make the playoffs? 3, 4? Indianapolis, Houston, Tennessee. I can't pick anybody in the AFC North. You could say New England if you wanted to, but they're going to be in games. They still have an excellent defense. Okay? They're going to at least be in games if everything goes right. And then in the West, I mean, how many teams can you really rule out? So those losses have to come from somewhere. And to me, I'm just going with Oakland or Las Vegas. That's just what makes sense to me. Okay, we saved it for last, everybody. The AFC East. This is what you've all been waiting for. And I have got the New England Patriots finishing dead last with an 8-9 record. You thought I was actually going to pick them to win the AFCs? No. Now, but in all seriousness, I really like the secondary with Christian Gonzalez, Jonathan Jones, Marcus Jones, Jabril Peppers, and definitely Kyle Duggar. Fantastic safety, but they've got the hardest schedule in the NFL, and they don't have the playmakers. They just don't have them. I'm sorry, Devontae Parker, Juju Smith-Schuster, Tyquan Thornton's injured, Mike Gesicki, Hunter Henry. I'm sorry, outside of Ramondre Stevenson, there's nobody that I genuinely say I would be worried about on this offense. I just don't fear this offense. All right, let's go bottom up. Who have I got in third place? Is it the team up north? Is it the team down south? Is it the team on my jersey, the team right in the middle? I've got the third place team being the Miami Dolphins. I didn't know I was going to have this much fun with it. I've got Miami finishing third at 10-7 and missing the playoffs in a tiebreaker. Okay, I think they get edged out by the Chargers. I think the Chargers win week 1, and that loss will come back to bite the Miami Dolphins right on the backside. I love their explosiveness on both sides of the ball. Hill, Waddle. Then on defense, you've got Wilkins, Phillips, Chubb, David Long. I love him at linebacker. Xavier Howard. I don't know if he still has it, but I do love Javon Holland as a safety. And Vic Fangio as defensive coordinator is really, really, really good. But I don't know. You can't. I got to see Tua stay healthy. I got to see him have a whole healthy season. I look Cleveland and Miami as being very similar teams. Great rosters on paper, but how much do you really trust the quarterback for different reasons? If those quarterbacks do their job, their teams will soar as a result. But they've got everything around them that they need to succeed. So Cleveland and Miami, to me, are like those real X-Factor teams. Was that an LA Knight reference? Yeah. Of course it was an LA Knight reference. Dummy, yeah. Hopefully he brings dummy back, because he used to say dummy a lot in TNA. He had a dummy button. So he'd hit the button and the button would say, dummy, yeah. Yep, I got the Patriots finishing last. Yep. Bill can't win without Brady. Well, it'd be nice if he had a decent. Hey, he won 11 games with Matt Castle. I reemphasize that. 11 games with Matt Castle. So Bill Belichick can have winning teams without Tom Brady. Just saying. Maybe not a Super Bowl, but he could still win. And remember, Brady went to a ready-made situation with a lights-out offensive line, a defense that killed Patrick Mahomes, and an amazing one-two punch at wide receiver. Everything was tailor-made for Brady. Remember how done he looked in his last season in New England when he threw. I just want to emphasize this again because I want to make sure nobody in the world ever forgets this. His last pass as a New England Patriot was a pick six for a touchdown at home in the playoffs. I just wanted to say that again. His Patriot career ended on a pick six. Yeah. So, not denying that he was a very good quarterback, but they needed each other. Just my opinion. How many games will Garoppolo be in? You never know. I mean, his last injury was a broken foot, which is really a fluke injury. I think he plays about 13 games. I think he'll play quite a bit. Yeah, I think Garoppolo will play a decent amount of time. Yeah, the Super Bowl. Right. I knew exactly what you meant. I did know what you meant. All right. To his old teammate Logan Ryan, absolutely. I never thought a Tennessee Titans touchdown could make me turn cartwheels or attempt to. Yeah, Grandizer agrees. He's got the fins around 500. Yeah, Grandizer's a Dolphins guy. Okay. All right. Well, I got the Patriots in fourth, and I've got the Dolphins in third. And so then in second place with an 11-6 record, I've got the New York Football Jets finishing second in the division. They have the most balanced and deep roster I can remember a Jets team having in. Oh, now I got two flies here. Let's hear it. 1, 2, 3. Okay, y'all just witnessed an attempted fly swat on the air. So hopefully PETA doesn't get on me for that one. You never know nowadays. But but you add the second head coach in Aaron Rodgers. I'm super excited for the leaps this team is going to make. The defense allowed only 15 passing touchdowns last season. Man, they're not that they are great at every level of defense, but they are great where you need to be great. Rushing the passer, covering wide receivers. Joe, do you remember when Christopher Johnson said Adam Gase is coaching football to where it's going? Do you remember one of the funniest quotes in the history of this franchise, which is saying something? Joe Douglas is acquiring a football team to where football is going in the year 2023. That's what he has spent the last 4 years building up, literally from nothing. Like he had to go get the men, the materials, everything to build what he has. And with as hard a schedule as this is, I just want 3-3 at the bye. Here's what I would settle for, guys. 3-3 at the bye, but give me 2 of those wins against the Bills and the Patriots. If I have that and the team is healthy going into the bye, I would accept it. That's good enough for me. 3-3, beat Buffalo, beat New England, be healthy. I could deal with it. Because Kansas City, Philadelphia, going to be tough. Going to Denver, always hard. At Dallas is going to be a very interesting matchup. It's going to be very, very intriguing. He killed the fly, canceled. Unfortunately, I've actually got 2. I got the super bright light back here, and the flies are just loving it. I should put like a fly trap right on it is what I should do. Should hang some fly paper. That'll take care of it really, really well. So I got the Jets at 11-6 and getting a wild card berth. In fact, the top wild card berth in the NFL. Oh, wow. Proud New York Jets fans. Well, I'm proud to have proud Nick Shine here. 6-0. He's thinking after the bye, going into the bye. Whatever he's taking, it's working. But from what I hear, the health situation's going a little bit better with him, which I'm very, very happy to see. You got to wonder, will Chris Jones be there? How will Travis Kelce's knee be? Because I'll tell you, I'm worried about the Jets being able to cover a tight end. Can the linebackers and safeties cover a tight end in the middle of the field? I know we're all excited about Tony Adams, but this is Travis freaking Kelce we're talking about. So let's see. It's going to be a bone bruise. Let's see what that winds up doing. Yep, week 4. Yeah, you know what? I drafted Travis Kelce in one of my 4 fantasy leagues. I'll take the loss if he misses the Jet game. I can live with it. I don't know if the Finns exposed the Bills. Well, I think the Bills did a pretty good number on them in the playoffs. It was competitive for a little while. And the Bills, and everything with the Bills, they're returning 75% of their roster from last season. They really have the continuity thing going on for them. So I'm just not ready to give up on the Bills just yet as being a real power in this division. Okay, and number one, I've got the Bills at 12-5, winning the division by 1 game over the Jets and 2 games over Miami. I just like Sean McDermott as their coach, that they do stay in games. What I'm worried about for their sake is the depth of their offensive line after Brandon Shell retired and Tommy Doyle got injured. I don't know about the right side of the offensive line. Now, Cyrus Torrance is going to be their starting right guard. You know, the Bills actually announced 3 starters today that they had announced: their middle linebacker, their second cornerback, and their right guard. They waited this long to make those announcements. But after that, I mean, you have Spencer Brown on the right tackle, who's terrible. I'm sorry, but he is. We'll see what Connor McGovern is at left guard, the other Connor McGovern, of course. But, Mitch Morse at center. Quinn Williams ate Mitch Morse for lunch and spit it back in his face last season. So I am not worried about that one at all. All right, but I got the Jets finishing second. Rivka, thank you for joining us. Yes, we are staying on late. I know usually I say 1 hour, but hey, you never know. If we got stuff to talk about, we'll talk. We're going 90 minutes, and we might be going a little bit longer. We have not done trivia yet, but we will get to trivia in a few minutes. Okay, so we've gone through all 32 teams. I've given you a like and a dislike and a season record for all of these teams. And by the way, I did count them. I made sure the total wins for each team matched the total number of total losses. So I actually did count that up because I had too much time on my hands. Anyway, so a couple of award predictions I'm going to make. I'm going to give you 4 awards. I predict the MVP. Do you recall the flies in the Amityville horror? Get out of that house. Grandizer, if you saw the flies that get into my house, because I've got no hallway, I open the door and there's a big bright light right on my front door when I go in. And in the summertime, I have to close the door immediately. I have to, right behind me, or bugs get in the house. I have 3 strips of fly paper up in the kitchen and 1 in the bathroom. It is like a museum of flies. I have caught dozens and dozens of them this summer. It has been crazy. It got to the point I had to start putting my garbage can out on the back porch. And that actually did a lot to keep the bugs out of the house. So, all right. So so enough about pest control. That's why y'all really came here tonight, was for pest control. Use I think it's Nuvo. It comes in a white can as opposed to red. I think it's called Nuvo. It's a really, really good fly spray, available at your local Target and Walmart. Get out. That is a freaky movie. If you haven't seen Get Out, holy crap, that movie is freaky. Yeah, I'm not too big into the gore and slash, but a good psychological thriller, I really get into that. I do enjoy those types of movies quite a bit. Okay, my MVP for the season, I'm predicting it will be Jalen Hurts from the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to run through these. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jahmyr Gibbs from the Detroit Lions, the running back. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Will Anderson from Houston. And Coach of the Year, I wanted to pick Robert Saleh, but I'm going to pick Dan Campbell from the Detroit Lions because I think they're winning their division. So I'm going with Campbell, but I think Robert Saleh will come in second place. Adirondack fly guy. Oh man, well, you fly, Adirondack. I think you fly. That's what I think. Oh, flag tape from the dollar store. Okay. Yeah, I've got a bunch of those little Ray things where you kind of pull the twist out hanging on the wall. But all right, fly 2K. Yep. I don't see them right now, so at least they're letting me finish this up. So. Okay, so I will give you my playoff predictions right now, all the way through. I'm going to go first round all the way to the Super Bowl. So in the NFC, I've got in order the seats. I've got 1 Philadelphia, 2 New Orleans. I think they're going to tie San Francisco. I just think New Orleans is going to have a really good conference record because of that lousy schedule they're playing. I just think they're really going to take advantage of everything. There's always something weird every season that doesn't make sense. I think New Orleans is just going to do really well. I think San Francisco has a lot stiffer competition to face. So I'm going to give New Orleans the edge on a tiebreaker. San Francisco 3, Detroit 4. Those are your division winners. 5, I've got Seattle. 6, I've got Dallas. And 7, I've got the Chicago Bears sneaking in as the last wild card. Okay? So here's what I've got. Philly gets the bye. I've got New Orleans beating the Bears. I've got the Dallas Cowboys upsetting the San Francisco 49ers. And I've got Detroit beating Seattle. Then in the division round, I got Philly beating Dallas and Detroit beating New Orleans on the road in the Superdome, setting up a Philadelphia versus Detroit NFC Championship game. That's right. I think the Lions are going to win their first playoff game since, I think, 1991, when Barry Sanders was there and they beat the Cowboys. David D, comeback player of the year, Elijah Moore. Hey, is Aaron Rodgers eligible? Because, hey, Aaron Rodgers, Mekhi Becton, take your pick on either one of them. Now, personally, I don't think Rodgers should be eligible. You can make an argument for Tua or Deshaun Watson, one of those two, because let's be honest, it usually goes to a quarterback. Let's be honest. I hope Becton's worthy of it. That would be like a dream case scenario. Rivka, yep, I sure did see Scherzer give up 7 runs, including the grand slam. Yeah, you know what? I've never had any issue with the Texas Rangers whatsoever until 2 things. One, they built that ugly generic green stadium. I know they got air conditioning, but it's just the most bland green stadium. Yes. Yep. Ryan Jett drafted 3 Saints players because of their schedule and Derek Carr. Yeah, smart man. I hope you drafted the New Orleans defense. They're going to go a long, long way. And you never know in a fantasy league, defenses get cut a lot. Watch for the Saints to come loose. And if that happens, I would put a waiver claim in on that defense. I would do it. Grandizer, Adam needs a flypaper pest control sponsor. Maybe, hey, I'll take whoever I can get. Yeah, why not? Maybe, hey, anything other than, I would do Manscaped, but hey, everybody's got Manscaped at this point, right? So there's some sports gambling that I'll be honest with you, I don't understand. DeMar Hamlin, that would make a lot of sense. The sentimental favorite for comeback player of the year. Hamlin would only need to have a decent season in order for him to win that award. Yeah, I would agree. Yep. Comeback player of the year, Becton or Hall? I think Becton's going to have a little bit better of a chance because I think Becton's going to play as much as he could possibly play. I think Hall's going to get his reps divided a little bit with Cook and Carter, especially early on. Yeah, comeback player. It's kind of a silly concept. Yeah, it's a nice idea. But yeah, it's a nice little thing. But so I'm going to say coach of the year Dan Campbell, but Robert Saleh comes in second. Back to the playoffs. I got Philly beating Detroit in the NFC Championship game at home and going back to the Super Bowl. Now, who will they face in the AFC? All right. Well, my seed in order is Kansas City, number 1, Cincinnati 2, Buffalo 3, Jacksonville 4, the Jets 5, Baltimore 6, and San Diego. I'm just calling them San Diego to keep it easy, 7. And I really don't see too many upsets. I've got Cincinnati beating the Chargers. I've got Buffalo beating Baltimore. And I've got the Jacksonville Jaguars losing to the New York Jets in the first round. I've got the Jets advancing to face the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead in the divisional round. But before that game happens, we got to see another Cincinnati-Buffalo game. And I've got Cincinnati with the home field advantage, defeating the Buffalo Bills and going to the AFC Championship game. Cincinnati in the AFC title game, and I predict in that game they will play the New York Jets. That's right. I've got the Jets back in the AFC Championship game, winning 2 games on the road, one in Duval County and one in Arrowhead on the border of Kansas and Missouri. And then they head to freezing cold Cincinnati, right across from Kentucky, where all the players would rather live anyway, because Cincinnati is not the best town I've ever been to. But I've got Cincinnati winning the AFC Championship game and advancing to the Super Bowl. I just think it's Joe Burrow's time, and I think he makes it to the Super Bowl. And I've got the Philadelphia Eagles winning the Super Bowl in Las Vegas this year to win their second Super Bowl in franchise history. So those are my predictions for the NFL season. We're going to do the trivia in about 2 minutes, but just a reminder to everybody, watch over the next couple of days. We're going to do our confidence picks. Those will be out Thursday, where we're going to pick winners of every game. We'll be doing our game preview every week, usually on Fridays, bold predictions for every game. And then after the game is over, I'll be recording the 3 key plays you may not recall that affected the outcome of the game. So it's going to be a big weekly routine. It's going to start Wednesday, at least 5 videos every week, and that's just on the Jets. So we're going to be pumping out that content, and we're going to be pumping it out big. Oh, personal announcement to make. I am indeed heading to New England at the end of September for my college reunion. My first time in Boston in 19 years, and it will be the week after the Jets play the Patriots. The Jets better freaking win that game, because I don't know if I can bear to go to New England coming off another Jets loss to the friggin' Patriots. But I will be going there. So during that last week of September going into October, I will be recording probably not from the wicker chair, but from the DoubleTree in Danvers, Massachusetts. So, but the hotel's booked, the rental car is booked, the plane is arranged. So I'm going to be leaving 3 weeks from tomorrow. So I'm very excited to head back there. Okay, guys, we have been on now for an hour and 36 minutes, and we are just now getting to it. So you know what time it is. It wouldn't be a show if we didn't play a little Jets trivia. All right, chat. Now remember, every trivia question that we do during the regular season, it's going to have something to do with the Jets and the opponent that they have for the upcoming week. No, the answer is not Calvin Pace. No, the answer is not Scotty McKnight. No, the answer is not Lee Cravat. No, the answer is not Damar Hamlin. No, the answer is not Alex Van Dyke. I will have to Urban Dictionary that one, Rusty. The upper decker. I didn't even know what a 40 burger was. If you remember Chris Bradigan, he mentioned a 40 burger, and we thought we were making fun of, like, I've never met him, but he thought we were making fun of his weight. And it's like, I didn't even know what a 40 burger meant. I thought it was like a 40-ounce burger. So we had to figure that out, that I didn't know what he meant by a 40 burger meaning 40 points. So you never know with this Urban Dictionary thing. Jeremy Curley. Okay, well, maybe. All right, here's your question, guys. Here we go. So the Jets, in the history of this rivalry, which goes back to 1960, have never, ever shut out the Buffalo Bills. But they've held them to 3 points on 5 different occasions. One of those games was in the year of our Lord, 2003. The Jets threw 3 touchdowns in that game, but had just 117 passing yards total. And there were 2 Jets players who tied for the team lead with 41 yards receiving. Can you name those 2 players? Okay, so in 2003 in this game, when the Jets had 117 total passing yards but 3 touchdowns, there were 2 Jets who tied for the team lead with 41 yards receiving for the game. Who were those 2 players? All right, you got 5 minutes, now 4 minutes and 40 seconds. All right, Chad, I'm gonna be watching you here. So put your answers down there in the comments. Last week you all killed it. You guys knocked it out immediately. Let's see if we get the same thing this time. Rusty Spooner says Santana Moss and Wayne Quebec. It's a little bit before then. Yeah, 03. Wasn't Moss traded by then? I want to say, wasn't Moss traded the Redskins by then? I want to say. Yeah, so no, it was not Moss, it was not Corbett. Yep, we got 14 people in the chat, so let's throw out some early 2000s. And of course, we don't look this up. Ryan says Lavernius Coles. Good guess, but I think Coles had just left to go to Washington. That whole when Terry Bradway screwed everything up. I think that was the year. I could be wrong, but I think that was the year when Coles was with Washington. Yeah, so I think Moss was with the Jets at this time. But no, it is not Lavernius Coles. By the way, I'll take care of here's how I know how to do it. Here's how you spell Lavernius. Just think of Laveranuis. I just always say it. I always pronounce it out loud. Laveranuis, and that's how I'm able to spell his name. So Laveranuis. That's how you. But it's pronounced Lavernius. John Nolte says Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker. That's about 12 years to that gets a buzzer. Rivka says Santana Moss. It is not Santana Moss. David D. It is not Brad Smith either. No, that was a little bit further down the road. That was in the Eric Mangini and Rex Ryan days. Hank G says, okay. Rivka became a Jets fan in 2004. It's only 1 year off, you know. Plexico Burris, nope, that Plexico came later on. Plexico came in 2011. So that was a little bit down the road. It was a tight end, forgot the one, Curtis Martin. You're right on the edge. And Rivka says Anthony Becht. Anthony Becht had 3 catches for 41 yards and 2 touchdowns. So Anthony Becht is the correct answer. Very good. Chris Baker, another tight end. I always like Chris Baker, but no, it is not Chris Baker, the touchdown maker. No, not Chris Baker. All right, that's 3 minutes down, guys. We've got 2 minutes left to go. 2 minutes. I don't know. I'm wondering if this is one that you're going to get. This is, you can get it. You can get it. Like it's a legitimate wide receiver. I don't know if I want to give much more away than that. Oh, the fly's back on the light beam. Yeah, I'll take care of him in a moment. Rivka says Lamont Jordan. Nope, it is not Lamont. Less than 90 seconds to go. Pure Adrenaline Sports. Did he play for the Bears? The Bears. He might have. He might have. Was he on the team in 2004 as well, Rivka asks. Off the top of my head, I don't know. The fact that I don't know should give you a pretty good indication. Let me see here. I'll look that up for you all real quick. Terry Glenn from the past. Terry Glenn was never a New York Jet. I don't believe Rivka, I don't think he was on the team in 2004. I think he was on the team for just 1 year. Oh my goodness, Modine's here. Dude, good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a long time. I'm glad you're here. Okay, here's the question, and I think there's 1 minute left. Let's make sure. Oh, we're down to 15 seconds. All right, I'll put a quick pause on it. Okay, against the Bills in 2003, the Jets threw 3 touchdowns but had just 117 passing yards. There were 2 Jets who had a game-high 41 yards receiving. One of them was Anthony Becht. Rivka got that one. Who was the other player who had 41 yards receiving in that game for the Jets in 2003? So that's the question. The 5 minutes is up. Did you all see the fly just fly literally right across the screen? Like he came right in front of my face. Yeah, he came right across the screen. Yeah, not Jericho Cotchery. It's a great guess, but no, not it. He did play for the Chicago Bears. I can tell you that. And he was a wide receiver. I'm going to see if I can come up with another clue here, maybe to help narrow it down for everybody. He was drafted by the Bears and played for the 49ers, for the Chargers. You know, Matt's definitely got the height to play wide receiver. I would definitely not doubt his ability to be a competent wide receiver. I have no doubt about that. Yeah, he spent 1 season with the Jets in 2003. Then he went on to San Francisco in 2004, and then he retired. But he was in the NFL for about 12 years, this guy. Yeah, this guy is not an obscure wide receiver, but he spent most of his career with the Bears in the 90s. Yeah, it's 11:44. I'll give you guys 1 more minute because I really think you could get this. Let's see. He actually works now for the Chargers as a broadcaster. How about that? The fullback for that game was Jerome Soule. There you go. Was it J. Cole? Yes, it was J. Cole. J. Cole's everywhere. Don't y'all know that? All right. So, okay. Yeah, we've given this one about 7 minutes. The correct answer, you know what? I'm gonna type it in the comments. Okay. Receiver Curtis Conway. Yep. Curtis Conway was with the Bears from 93 to 99, then went on to the Chargers from 2000 to 2002. Then he went to the Jets in 03, Niners in 04, and then he stepped away from the game. Yeah. And Curtis Conway actually threw for 2 touchdown passes in his career, so not too bad. But yeah, that was his career. Yeah, Modine did mention the Chargers broadcaster. Yeah. Curtis Conway had a good run, but yeah, with the Jets, it was a 1-year thing that just did not work out all that well. I think they brought him in to replace Lavernius Coles after Terry Bradway let him, Randy Thomas, John Hall, and Chad Morton all go for nothing. Terry Bradway was a horrific general manager, and that one-off season, that's all you need to know. Yeah, it's really a shame. So, yep, but Lavernius did work his way back home to the Jets where he belongs, and so yep, that's pretty much the story. So, all right, well next week we'll have a question. I guess it'll be a Jets Cowboys question. Yeah, do a little Jets Cowboys action. So be ready for that, and let's see how we do. But yeah, wow, we're close to 20 people tonight, man. Not bad, not bad. Oh, Rita's giving us her bio here. I just got to read this. Became a full-time fan in 04. So before that, were you an apprentice? Were you an intern fan or something? Okay. 01 and 03, watch bits and pieces with your grandfather. So remember the name. Okay, yeah. He's got a pretty memorable name, you know. The alliteration, the Conway, all good. Modine can be a bit of a Googler. I'm still waiting for the guys like Curly Norman to come back because those guys were my nemesis, you know, doing the trivia on the Thursday night show. But yeah, we still got it going on over here. And yeah, we're going to do the trivia every Wednesday. So yeah, you know where to come. Just come to New York Sports WickerMedia Wednesday night, and we're going to do it for you. All right. Well, guys, if you have any other questions for me, any other chats, throw them down there. But it's getting close to midnight, and I'm going to be up probably 6 a.m. Yes, Jesse the Body. Yes, Jesse Ventura. I know what you're saying. Win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat. There you go. Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, and the like, they basically own that now. I think they probably have that phrase patented by now, right? All right, guys. I think we're going to wind it down. But again, I want to thank you guys very, very much for joining me tonight for Wednesday Night Live for our 10th episode. Next week, number 11. And by then, the Jets will have a game in the books. So we'll recap that game. We'll talk about the AFC East in general. We'll begin to look ahead to the game against Dallas. So, guys, I want to thank you very much. I've got 2 flies to go kill. But we'll see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair. Have a great night, everybody. We love you.